In today's demo, we are going to define what is a deferred bowler. If you'll look at lane number 3, you'll see that there are 3 players on the lane, and lane number 4 has 2 players on the lane. When a new player wants to join the lane, they'll come to the front desk and they'll say, "Can we add a new player to lane number 3?" So we click on lane number 3, and we see that Mary, Tim, and Grandma are bowling. I'm going to add one more player. We'll ask him for the name, and let's say it was Scott. Okay. If you look over here, this player is what we call deferred. Deferred means the player will start the very next game. Now, I want to show you something, so let's click on Send so that I can send him to the lane as deferred. If we take a look here at lane 3 and 4 on the overhead monitors, you're going to see that players 1, 2, and 3 are in the 10th frame. They've bowled 2 games already, and the screens, the animations are telling the bowler it's time to start a new game. Throw the ball, roll the ball down the lane to get a new game started. If you also notice, the player's name right here for the 4th player said NG Scott, and it's informing them that he will start the next game. So as soon as Mary throws the very first ball, she will start the next game. The 3rd game will be started, and Scott will be able to bowl. So in recap of what we just discussed, you can add players to the lane, and our system is set up to add new players as a deferred player. If I was to add another player here to lane number 4, I can add a player, and if I don't want him to be deferred, I can always change him to an active player, and that means he will be forced to make up any frames that he has not bowled. For example, if Tom and Greg are in the 4th frame and Tim joins the lane and he is an active player shown here, then he will be forced to make up those 4 frames that he missed. If you decide that most of your players will join the game immediately, you can always set up the system to add new players as an active player and not as a deferred player. You do that by clicking on the Configuration Manager. We move over to the Lanes tab. We highlight our front desk computer, and we say that when a new player is added, he'll be set as an active player. We click on Save. Close the window. We are warned that we must close Focus for that change to take place. And now that we have restarted Focus, if we were to select lane number 3 and we were going to add another player, you would see here that by default the new players are set as active because we made that change in the Configuration Manager. So that's our topic today on what is a deferred player. You always have to remember that even if the bowlers are in the 10th frame, that game is not a closed game. If you're going to add a player and the players are on the 10th frame, set him up as a deferred player. Then when frame number 1 of the next game gets started, that player that just was added to the lane will be ready to bowl.